Good morning everyone, welcome to your daily current affairs. I hope my voice is audible. Fine, let's see today's current affairs in paper Hindu. So yeah, first one, H3N2 flu claims 2 lives, says health ministry. So recently we have understood that because of this seasonal change there is a flu which is occurred due to H3N2 virus, and currently WHO and our ICMR has told that yes, it is not life threatening. However, 2 deaths have been identified because of H3N2. So both patients had comorbidities. So deaths are due to their comorbidities, that means existence of other diseases too, which makes them huge less immune or huge vulnerable to these kind of viruses. So because of their other issues, health issues, 2 lives were gone. So 451 cases confirmed in the country. So far 451 cases which were confirmed, but how many people are affected we don't know. Actual numbers are not knowing. So yeah, at least 2 persons were identified who were dead because of this particular thing, and 451 people were identified with H3N1 virus, and they have mentioned that. So the symptoms would be, we have already discussed, fever, cough, breathlessness and wheezing. So your breathlessness, wheezing, fever, cough, cold, all these are symptoms of, just a moment. So yeah, H3N2 virus. So what happened? And another thing was, identification is similar to that of COVID symptoms, similar to your COVID symptoms only. So young children and old age people with comorbidities are the most vulnerable, said health ministry. So who are most vulnerable because of this? The youngsters and also old age people who are having this other diseases too. Okay, they are most vulnerable for this. Fine. Next. So in regard with that, they have also prescribed one medication which is in your page 8. Let me go to that. Continuation of that article. Yes. So continuation of that article, your free flu drug, all these are the numbers which is again not required for your exam. However, prescribed medication can be posing of importance for you. So oseltamivir is a drug used to treat H1N1 virus, which can also be used for H3N2 virus, which is being prescribed by WHO, World Health Organization, right? So the drug is made available through public health system at free of cost, has been stated by health ministry. So the public healthcare system, wherever the public hospitals, the government hospitals, these medications are available for free, right? So yeah, Niti Aayog on Saturday they have conducted an interim meeting, and then they wanted to review about this particular H3N2 virus, right? So that is about this article. Next. So your analytical part should be, as part of your UPSC prelims, yes, definitely the prescribed medication or what is caused, why this influenza is caused. Prelims perspective, what is the medication, or H3N2, is it a virus, parasite or any microbiome, this is important. And when it comes to your mains part, GS3 Science and Technology, what is important is that your analysis. Recently we have understood that there is a growing existence of this flu fevers. Seasonal flus were existing from long back. However, that frequency has increased. So you can also take it as your question for today as analyze why the recent scenario has huge influenza fevers or huge fevers, flu fevers. You can see, right, the trends of fevers has increased. Is it because the microbes or the microorganisms have got immune to this particular medication, or due to the environmental changes, or due to antibiotic resistance grown in the human body? This is your question, you can just take up and you can write on your own. Okay, fine. Analytical part, no, important. Yes, that is about this article. Skipping up the local articles, we can take up something which is related as a central one. Local one, yes, this is despite local, but yeah, important for your environment part, not so, but yeah. So, abandoned tiger cubs gets new home at Tirupati Zoo. So, these tiger cubs were abandoned or they were lost, they were deserted in Nagarjuna Sagar Srisalam Tiger Reserve. So, they found in some pit or in that particular tiger reserve which were rescued and now they are placed in Tirupati Zoo. Okay? Yes, nothing more than that is there in the article. Let me go to some other article which is actually important. So much of political news today. So yeah, even international relations, very few are there which are important. Yes. So categorization of terrorism on the basis of motivation is dangerous, says India. So currently your UNSC summit is going on, United Nations, and Miss Ruchira Kamboj is the permanent secretary representative of India to the UN. From India, she is a permanent representative in United Nations. Who is she? Ruchira Kamboj. She has mentioned that, of course, we have seen in yesterday's current affair that Pakistan again tried to raise this particular LOC, border issue of India in UNSC. That is when India, same person, Ruchira Kamboj has mentioned that it is baseless, frivolous and no need to even discuss about this. Frivolous and no need to discuss, it's completely baseless. Even commenting about it is a waste of time. That is what she has mentioned. And now she has also stated that whatever the terrorism is there, no matter what is the actual reason behind it, motto, for suppose some kind of terrorism would be because of Islamophobia. That means fear for the growth of affecting, that means fear for the growth of other religions and their affection towards Islam will make them turn into Muslim terrorism, Islamic terrorists. And some people gains would be like establishing this religion as a whole all over world, and it can be anti-Buddhist or anti-Sikh. Mottos can be different, but affecting is same. So weaponizing or violence caused by this is same, right? So what she has mentioned is categorizing based on the motto of terrorism is not required. It is completely dangerous. This particular motivation is dangerous because once this categorization is done, then further what will happen is they will try to have less concern about other ones. Are you able to understand? If it is about anti-Buddhism, then anti-Buddhist terrorists might be less impactful. But however, this categorization would not leave this particular vulnerable sections, right? Definitely they will also be affected. So it is kind of dangerous to the society. It is not at all required. That is what she has mentioned, right? So the tendency of categorization based on the motivation acts as dangerous and goes against the accepted principles of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations should be condemned, and there cannot be any justification for any act of terrorism. So she said that irrespective of the motto, terrorism in all of its forms should be condemned. That means it should definitely be condemned and it should never be encouraged irrespective of their motto, and justification cannot be given based on their motto. If it is terrorism, whatever the motto may be, it is definitely condemned. That is what she has mentioned. And she has mentioned this in the first reading of draft resolution on 8th review of global counter-terrorism strategy. So this particular review meeting on global counter-terrorism strategy. So what should be our strategy? Everyone will come with their own draft policies, right? So their own recommendations. So some of them have speculated that yes, we will be having stratification. Based on the motto, let us divide the terrorism. Then she has mentioned that there is not required. Irrespective of whatever the motto, definitely there should be condemned. And it will be more dangerous. That is what she has told. So we strongly condemn terrorist attacks motives by Islamophobia or Christianophobia or anti-Semitism or anti-Sikh, anti-Buddhist, anti-Hinduism, whatever the prejudice may be. Whatever it is definitely condemnable. That is what she has mentioned. Fine. Next. This is important, I haven't highlighted, but yeah. Government amends KYC to add NPOs politically exposed persons. So what is this article about? The Union Finance Ministry. So of course anything that is related to your, just a moment, economical government perspective related to your money, that will be dealt by your Ministry of Finance. So they have mentioned that they have amended the prevention of money laundering maintenance rules for widening the scope of know your customer norms to include politically exposed persons, non-profit organizations and those dealing with the virtual assets as reporting entities. So now what is the issue here? The government is trying to edit this and know your customer policy so that your politically exposed persons, NPOs, who are your non-profit organizations like NGOs or any non-profit organizations, all these people data should also be mentioned further. Okay, in any money laundering case, these people will also be under the ambient. Earlier, politically exposed persons were not in the ambient, virtual assets was not in the ambient. Now, these will also be included in your know your customer form. Understood? So, to lessen this money laundering cases. Fine. So, the decision has been taken ahead of the expected Financial Action Task Force assessment of India later this year. So, later this year we will be having this task force assessment, FATF assessment will be there, and once that is released we will read in detail about what is that particular data is about. So, in that they are prescribing about digital or virtual assets, that means that can be your cryptocurrencies or any NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So, all these things, all assets should also be mentioned in your know your customer form. So, in future if I am purchasing any virtual asset too, in my know your customer form I need to fill. So, I will give you a detailed thing about this, no need to worry, as I haven't gone through this article much. So, we will be discussing about this tomorrow's class. Okay, we will discuss about this in tomorrow's class. I will tell you what is clearly this form of report. Okay, fine. Next, India US to launch a semiconductor subcommittee. So, yesterday I have mentioned that US has told, US and India have come up with a particular MOU, Memorandum of Understanding on the semiconductor devices. So, it will increase the supply chain. So, whatever the chips or semiconductor devices that we are in need, we will be having a trade with US. So, regarding that we had an MOU, and what does this MOU do? The key features of this commercial dialogue included creating reliable supply chains management will be there, diversifying friendshoring, facilitating climate, clean energy, clean technology cooperation. So, clean technology, that is what we are focusing right now, green economy, so environmental friendly technology. So, for that and all we will be having a positive growth when after this MOU being signed. So, currently we have already signed this MOU on Friday, that means yesterday. So, this particular MOU has been signed, which will pave way for creating a semiconductor subcommittee under the commercial dialogue between US and Department of Commerce and India's mighty Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So, India's mighty and US's Department of Commerce and also the Ministry of Commerce is also involved into this particular subcommittee on semiconductors. So, one of the major outcomes was, I have already mentioned here, that was the major outcomes. We have a proper innovation partnership, supply chain management. Supply chain management is mean what? If we have any one kind of requirement from semiconductor devices, we will be taking it from US. At the same way, if we are manufacturing something, we will have a positive trade with USA regarding the semiconductors, right? So, yeah, that is what they have mentioned. And yeah, US-India initiative of critical emerging technology, that will broaden strategic technological or strategic technology partnership. This ISET meeting was conducted, and later on we have committed to a MOU on subcommittee. Okay, yes. Next, from Australia. So, we have seen yesterday too, education wise, trade, then we had defense cooperations. For the first time we will be attending the naval exercises. So, your exercise Malabar, all these things yesterday we have seen in newspaper, and now the other one is Australia and India will be signing audio visual co-production agreement. This is with respect to your entertainment field, film industry. What is this co-production agreement? For suppose I'm going to have suppose I am a director of a film, so I need a producer, so I will have a producer here. Now, this co-production agreement on audio visuals, so production office can also contribute from Australia. Both combinedly can produce a film here, can produce a film in Australia. And of course, for filming or for shooting, whatever it is, we are opting to go to visit places in Australia for their beautiful visuals. So that is why they have come up with this particular agreement with respect to entertainment. So why this article is important is, your foreign policy depends on the common interest between each country. Now we are sharing interest between education, trade, so in trade we have seen that we will be having a comprehensive strategic agreement with them, strategic partnership, which we are trying to work on, CECA. Then we already had agreement that in Gift City they will be having 2 universities from Australia in Gift City, Gujarat. They will be establishing there, and now they are going to have this entertainment agreement, right? So yeah, what is this? India and Australia have signed an audiovisual agreement in which private, quasi-government or governmental agencies of the 2 countries can enter into contacts to produce films together. To produce any film together, they can work together. Fine. So the government also have entered 15 such agreements with other countries as well. We already have prior to this with other countries like UK, France, Germany, Italy and Canada. So said who? The Senior Information and Broadcasting Ministry. So that is what they have mentioned, that yes, we already have, that is why whatever movies or film shoots or whatever it is, will be fleeing to abroad to shoot. So all these things are in that way. So yeah, and contribution can be from 20% to 80%. If we have a co-production agreement, it will start from 20% to 80%, there can be co-production things, okay. So that is about this article. Next. More girls have joined to STEM program in India compared to US, UK, says our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. So what does this STEM program means? STEM is your science, technology, engineering and maths. So your technical field, so your BTech or any other science fields, that means can be your medication or any other. See, science technology, not medication but science technology, which is related to your maths, logical part, okay. So in these particular fields, enrollment in India, especially girls ratio, not girls ratio but girls per population, is more in our country compared to US, UK. So in those places comparatively, and also Germany, India, we have huge people who are enrolling themselves into the STEM programs. And he has also mentioned that currently there is a huge growth in self-help groups. So these cooperative societies, self-help groups, especially self-help groups, SHGs, are popular in rural areas. They are also considered a part of your MSME, but here a group as a whole, women as a group they form, and they will be working on some particular traditional artisan activities. So that can be beadi making, candle making or any other kind of industry, can be your production or manufacture, whatever it is. Such industries can be developed, and currently he said that, our Prime Minister has said that this startups, this SHGs have a huge potential. Now there is a requirement that SHG can be merged with, where is this, can be added, or some of these SHGs can be made or can be given a status of unicorn. So what is a unicorn? Startup company. So unicorn startup company which has a turnover of $1 million, right. So currently we can add these SHGs into unicorns. So as part of our budget they are planning it. So we can further turn these SHGs into unicorns. That is the level of penetration of self-help groups, entrepreneurship in the country, especially in rural areas. Fine. So that is what he has mentioned here, and he has also mentioned that these girls who are enrolling, the number of girls studying in high school and beyond have tripled over the past decade. So compared to the past decade, 10 years back and now, almost tripled is the ratio. What happened? Almost tripled is the ratio of girls enrollment into the higher education. And in fields such as medicine, sports, business, politics, not only have the participation of women grown, but they are also leading from the front, he said on the post-budget webinar on women empowerment or economical empowerment of women. That is what he told. They are not only participating, their participation itself hasn't not been increased, it is also that they are leading in many of the fields. That is what he has mentioned. So he noted that 70% of the Mudra loan beneficiaries are women, and women benefit majorly from these particular schemes. Even your Startup India, Stand Up India, or even the local schemes, whatever the local schemes, suppose Badugu Vikasam in Andhra Pradesh, right? So these are all the startup schemes. Mudra loan scheme, almost 70% of the beneficiaries are women. And there is one criticism here that in the name of women, the gent or the particular husband or the father is getting benefited, but however, economical empowerment is happening somewhat the other way. Market is circulating, money is circulating, so which is a positive note. Okay, fine. Next, so he has also mentioned that 80,000 crore has been allocated for PM Awas Yojana. So what is this PM Awas Yojana? Urban and rural housing scheme, housing, so permanent housing for these weaker sections. So currently PM Awas Yojana have given women a voice in economic decisions of the household, because they will be given these houses, so they have their own voice to speak, to question upon economical constraints in the family, right? They have given that voice. Independence, I think that is the last article. We haven't got any explanatory articles more today. No. So this is a monthly report, not required. Sensex decrease, not required. No. This is a small article which is again we can discuss, as articles are less, I want to discuss. So ventilation cooling industry may grow to 30 billion in size by 2030. So we have this ventilation wise cooling industry. So not this ventilation, but your ACs, ventilation, house ventilation or whatever is the air conditioning or cooling industries would grow up to 30 billion in size. Why? Because of the adverse climatic conditions. We have already seen La Nina, El Nino, every day is it in the news. That is why this particular sector will see huge growth of up to $30 billion in size by 2030. So the India's heating, ventilation, air cooling industry HVAC estimated at 7.8 billion in 2021. So in 2021, the latest report is around 2021, which is 7.8 billion worth of HVAC industry. However, in 2030, by 2030, it would grow till $30 billion. Okay, so $30 billion following the rising demand for cooling in the residential sector on account of pressing need for design and production of energy efficient products and net zero target by 2070. Top executives have mentioned this. So we have a target of net zero emissions 2070. By 2070 we should have net zero emissions. However, there is a growing demand of air conditioning or ventilation facilities in the family, okay, in households. So that is about this article. So yeah, rest all other data is not required. So yeah, let it be. So that's it. I don't have much articles to be discussed. Yeah, fine. So yeah, that's it for today. Let's meet in the next class. Okay. Thank you for the session. Good day.